Hey, how are you all doing? I hope everybody is well. I'll go ahead and get recording on the podcast. Hey, everybody, it's Adina here from Immigrant Finance Podcast, and let's talk today about what's been going on a little bit with cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, the crashes that have been happening, what's going on in El Salvador. I will just start off in a little bit context why I want to talk about this topic and what it means for the immigrant community. For those of you who don't know me or who are new to our community, welcome again. I'm Adina. I am the co-founder and co-creator of Immigrant Finance, which I started with my husband, Mauricio, who's an immigrant from Ecuador, after we struggled a lot with finances when he immigrated to the country in 2013, and we couldn't find any resources about finances for the immigrant community. I'm also an immigration attorney and now an accredited financial counselor. So I use that perspective of understanding the immigration system for immigrants as an immigration lawyer and my personal experience navigating it with my husband to help guide people with their safety in mind so that they can participate in the financial system. Now, this is a topic with Bitcoin and cryptocurrency I haven't spoken a lot about. You may have noticed I've really been focusing on kind of witnessing and trying not to take too much of a stand because it is so new and there's so much uncertainty that we don't know about when it comes to Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. So I don't want to be giving any, financial advice that I'm not confident in, but there are a few things that have been happening in the news that it is important for folks to know that I want to make sure people are aware of when it comes to cryptocurrency. So let's start off with the question that I get all the time. So I get all the time people are asking me, should I invest in cryptocurrency? And I talk to immigrants and family members of immigrants frequently every week through Immigrant Finance. We give free 30-minute consultations. So I'm constantly chatting with people and hearing about their goals and giving some complimentary financial guidance and counseling. And this question comes up all the time. And I see that a lot of folks in the immigrant community have been kind of told this story, this big promise about cryptocurrency, that it's this way to get rich fast, that it's a way to become an investor, that has never been available before, and how, that's the way people should be investing, not the traditional stock market. And the many people I've spoken to who have taken the step to start investing in cryptocurrency almost always are only doing that, and they're not investing in the traditional stock market that the vast majority of Americans have been investing in when investing for generational wealth, when investing for retirement, when investing in their kids' college. So a lot of folks are skipping that whole process and are going straight to cryptocurrency. There's many reasons I see for that. One of the main ones is people think that they are not allowed to invest in the stock market if they don't have immigration status, which is not true. We work with people all the time to help show them how they can invest too, regardless of their immigration status. All you need is an ITIN number if you don't have a social security number. If that's something you have questions about, definitely reach out. It's exactly what we help people with. So I see people think that they're not allowed to invest traditionally and believe that this is the only option for them, which is not a great place to be starting with anything financially, because that's coming from a place kind of desperation, of this is my only choice, right? There's a lot of emotion involved in that. There's a lot of frustration, desperation, feeling left out of the system. And when you're making investments, when you're making your financial plan and strategy, you want to be coming from the least emotional place as possible. I know it's hard to be unemotional about money, but you want to have a strategy. You want to have a system that is based in reason and logic and what we know statistically has performed over time to get the results and goals that you want moving forward. So just to start off, like that, if that's the reason you're thinking about crypto or why you've invested in crypto, I would encourage you to like really get some more education, research more, see what you can find on the internet, reach out to us, reach out to others who know about how immigrants can invest so that you don't think it's your only option, because it's just not true, right? Another big reason is even if people don't have an issue with their immigration status, like there's a lot of fear and beliefs about the traditional investing that folks have from their family members being left out of the system, from the system failing them, from the system deporting their family members and being violent. And it can be very tempting to say, oh, there's this whole new alternative system that is, kind of like F you to the man, F you to the way things have been done. This is a new way for me to get what I deserve, right? That there's something going on with that with crypto as well, which I totally understand and get. And it makes sense to look at all your options and what's available. So crypto has really gotten the interest of a lot of people who have been what is referred to in the financial world as unbanked. So people who have not been traditionally part of the financial system, who've been left out of the financial system, who have not been served by the financial system that has been traditionally built, for white men, for people who have had wealth for generations. There's not a lot of people that are seeing how they can meet the needs of folks in the immigrant community when it comes to finances. So it makes sense, again, that this new way of investing would be very tempting. Something else that's been going on with cryptocurrency, I've noticed, is that there is a bit of get rich scheme to it, get rich temptation. If you think about like the gold rush back in the day when there was this big promise, if you moved out to California and dug for gold, you might find gold and get rich fast and build wealth and get new money even if you were poor, right? That was really tempting for a lot of people during that time in American history. And some people did find gold and get rich, but it was pretty rare. And most people lost a lot of money trying to go after this whole get rich thing. And generally, as a general rule, always exceptions, when anyone's promising you're going to get rich fast, or that some investing strategy is going to get you rich quick, it's something usually to be skeptical about, because anything worthwhile usually does take time, patience, right? And we know with traditional investing, it's absolutely possible to be building wealth through traditional financial strategies. It just takes time. It takes patience, right? So I know I'm going to be triggering a lot of people and upsetting people by saying this, but I do want to share my opinion on kind of what I've seen with crypto. All that being said, I'm not against crypto. I would not say don't do it. I have not created content advising people against crypto, but I am noticing these concerning trends around what is attracting people to crypto that I wanted to speak about and clarify. And unfortunately, what we saw in the past few months, just as there also was a crash, a downturn in the traditional US stock market, there was also a crash when it came to Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, a very significant crash that a lot of people were not expecting at very high numbers. And I wanted to highlight that so folks do know what is happening, and that it's not all this like la la land of perfection of getting rich fast with crypto. Like just like any investing, just like investing in the traditional stock market, there's going to be ups and downs when it comes to investing in cryptocurrency. And that's exactly what happened in very significant numbers recently in the past few months. So I believe it was in May, Bitcoin crashed around at a level of around 60% in value, which is extremely high. And it is expected by many to continue crashing or to not recover as quickly as expected. And then I also wanted to highlight what's been going on in El Salvador, specifically because El Salvador was the first country to announce that they were going to accept cryptocurrency as a official form of currency at the government level, which is really rare. It's been more of a kind of like off-market thing, like not quite regulated yet by governments or accepted as a form of currency by governments. That is changing. The U.S. government is starting to look into regulating it more, and we're starting to see things pop up about still having to pay taxes on earnings with cryptocurrency and all that. So that is changing, and I have spoken to a colleague who works at the Securities and Exchange Commission, which is one of the U.S. federal agencies that regulates the financial markets, about how the government is kind of gearing up to regulate cryptocurrency more. So it's unclear, how long it's going to remain this thing where you can sort of escape the financial system. It does appear that regulations are going to be coming, and that will change. So what happened in El Salvador is they announced about, I believe it was a year ago or so, that they were going to accept cryptocurrency as an official form of currency. But what's happened is since the crash has occurred with the value of cryptocurrency, and the price has dropped in El Salvador for cryptocurrency by about 37% since September, the holdings of cryptocurrency so far in El Salvador have really plummeted. And there's major concerns going on about the economic impacts and value of cryptocurrency. And we have seen that because of what's going on, because of the significant price drops in cryptocurrency, El Salvador actually just announced that it's postponing adopting Bitcoin bonds for now a second time. So that is really significant, given that the Bitcoin crash has appeared to have changed the approach of the first government to be willing to accept cryptocurrency as a form of currency, in terms of really adopting it formally in the form of bonds, at least. There's also been a lot of fear arising from individuals in El Salvador who see it as a risky form of currency. The government has had a hard time getting people to use it as it's hoped. So I don't want to say too much more about it because I'm certainly not an expert in what's going on in El Salvador, but did want to highlight a couple things I saw in the news that were very significant on this topic. So I think it brings up a larger discussion about just the nature of risk when it comes to investing. Many folks thought they could avoid the risks that happen and the downturns that naturally do happen in investing by going the cryptocurrency route. And we're seeing that that's actually not true, that downturns still happen. And this is actually a normal part of investing. Now, the rates that Bitcoin and cryptocurrency are crashing are really, really high. So it's very significant. But in general, with any form of investing in the stock market and traditional investing, it's normal for there to be ups and downs, right? We can expect that. There's really no way to avoid it. So I want people to have the takeaway to at least know, if you decide to invest in cryptocurrency, do it from a place of knowledge, knowing that you're still going to have downturns. You're still going to have points where the value goes down and you could be losing some of your money. And this just came up at a live presentation I was doing in Madison, Wisconsin a couple of days ago. Shout out to the Midwest Mujeres. Thank you so much for having me. It was amazing to be there and meet so many of you, and meet the lovely host, Araceli, and one of our students, Yasmin, who invited us to be there. So thank you all for having us. And at that presentation, this came up, the attendees were asking about investing in cryptocurrency. I get this question all the time because, like I said in the beginning, a lot of folks in the immigrant community are really being encouraged by folks to invest in cryptocurrency. Folks who are new investors who've never invested before, who really don't have experience or knowledge with investing in the stock market, and who are doing this for the first time. So I get this question, should I do it? Is it a good idea? Is it a bad idea? And I told them pretty much the same kind of stuff I'm telling you now. I mean, I hadn't seen the news yet about El Salvador yet when I responded to them. So that's a new update. But, I told them what I always tell folks, which is, in the financial world, cryptocurrency is viewed as an extremely risky investment, primarily because it just hasn't been around long enough for us to know what the performance will be over time. And when it comes to investing, it's always going to be risky. Like I said, the stock market goes up and down and up and down in the short term, right? If you're watching on video and you can see my hand, I'm going up and down, up and down. It's like a wave, Lots of things in nature are like this. They're cyclical. They go through cycles. If you think about the seasons changing, right? Women's menstrual cycles, right? The moon cycles. Lots of things are cyclical like that. So the stock market is like that as well. It goes up and down in the short term. But what we are interested in when it comes to actually building generational wealth, long-term wealth through investing in the stock market, it's about looking at the long-term trend. So in the short term, even though it's going to go up and down as the economy fluctuates, we know statistically over the past 100 years that the U.S. stock market on average has increased at a steady rate over the past 100 years at a rate of between approximately 7 to 12%, which is very, very high. It's a very high performance. That's how people are able to build wealth, by investing small amounts of money consistently over time, to be prepared to have millions in retirement, to be able to afford their kids' college, to pass down wealth to their children, to be able to have, a future that they want and have their money work for them. So we know that happens. And so it's no surprise it's happened with cryptocurrency too. I think just a lot of folks were told this story that they would be able to avoid that, because many folks I talk to are really scared to invest in the stock market because they're scared to lose their money. They're scared that it's risky. They've had family members say, don't invest in the stock market. It's like gambling, keep your money safe. And this is really just about not having all the information, and why it's so important to spend time investing in yourself to learn about finances and to become educated and financially empowered through the power of information. Because when you take the time to study investing, you learn and you understand that it is normal in the short term for the stock market to go up and down, just like what's happening with crypto, right? It's normal, it's expected, it's a cycle, just like the seasons, just like the moon, right? And we can expect that. And when you know to expect it and you understand what's going on in the long term, or on the long term, it's increasing steadily, right? And wealth is built that way. That's how you can start to know the rules of the money game. That's how you can start to have a strategy and know what you're doing to participate in and take advantage of that long-term growth that will average out over time. With cryptocurrency, the same thing could apply theoretically. The difference is it hasn't been around long enough for us to know what that performance is over the long run. We haven't been able to run numbers on how it's going to perform over decades or 100 years like we can with traditional stock market investing. So again, just to be clear, I'm not saying don't invest in crypto. I'm not giving, investment advice on that, but I'm saying learn about how investing works generally, including with crypto. Understand that these cycles are normal and expected, and that with crypto, we don't have the data in the long term. So it is riskier primarily for that reason, merely because we don't have that information to analyze since it's so new to know what would happen over the long run. So I can just tell you what the approach that, I take with my family and that we discuss with our students, which is build that foundation with that traditional investing that we know historically has performed over time at that rate of at least 7 to 12%, and build your foundation with what we know has worked to be able to secure your future. Because with things like retirement and your kids' college and your kids' future and generational wealth, personally, I don't like to mess around with that, right? That's when it starts to get more into gambling, when you try to beat the system and try to beat what we know what works and try to make quick money fast. That's when it starts to get like gambling. And a lot of people don't know that. So like props to you for taking the time to listen and learn right now, because now that you know that, you can know that it's actually more risky and more gambling to try to do things that, you know, we don't have a lot of data on, that are really new. So yeah, build that foundation of what we know has worked. And then as you get more comfortable and confident with investing, you can diversify. Diversify means to like add in different strategies, invest in different things, so you don't have all your eggs in one basket. That's why investing is not just about investing in the stock market, in like stocks. You can invest in bonds, you can invest in index funds, you can invest in real estate funds, and you can invest in actual real estate. You can invest in your business, you can invest in someone else's business, you can invest in your own knowledge, you can invest in yourself, right? In your health and your mental health. There's lots of ways you can be investing, but once you have that basic foundation that we know works statistically over decades, then you can diversify. Then you can add in more advanced strategies and play around and get a little more risky with things like cryptocurrency. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, you get to decide how you're going to manage your finances, but don't let yourself be limited to think that your only option is cryptocurrency. And don't let anyone tell you that you're going to make quick money fast and that it's guaranteed, because nothing is guaranteed. It's always a risk. So more information is power. And if you have any questions about what's going on with Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and how to kind of weigh all these pros and cons and make your investing strategy, definitely reach out to someone for help. And we have a free masterclass on investing for immigrant families that might be a helpful intro if you want to learn a little bit more about concepts with investing. We invite you to check it out. It's at investingmasterclass.immigrantfinance.com. We hope it's helpful for you, and thanks for taking the time to learn a little bit more about your finances today. Take care, everyone. Bye.